Hey guys, Junior with Teach Me RV. Today we're talking about ACs while we're in this beautiful chaparral. Now, specifically what we're going to be talking about is AC was working perfectly fine, all of a sudden it shut off and I have no power. Why is that? Let's jump into some of the common causes that would cause your AC to shut off, the power being interrupted to it, and where to go to fix those problems. So let's go ahead and get started with probably one of the most common things that I see and one of the most common ones I get phone calls on. So let's talk about some of the things that will blow an AC's breaker. The only thing that will blow it is over amperage. Okay, the breakers go over amps, they're going to blow. Okay, so what are some things that you are going to be accidentally doing that's going to increase the chance of this happening? If it heats, coffee pots, curling irons, hair dryers, space heaters. Why are you running a space heater and an AC at the same time? Not sure, but anyway, anything that heats up can trip the breaker if they're running at the same time that AC is. So that's one of the things to keep in mind. Try to keep the amount of electric heating elements down for that. Like in our camper, one of the things we use on a regular basis is a stovetop percolator, okay? All I'm using is my gas supply to heat it. I'm not drawing any extra power. I still have coffee in the morning, and it's Black Rifle Coffee. And there it is. And they still haven't sponsored us. Anyway, but that being said, so keep that in mind. Let's address the most common one, which is the microwave. Common problems. This is a microwave. This is not an air conditioner. But it can be one of the biggest problems we see. So what we're going to do, go ahead and start it off. Time cook. 5 minutes. And run. Okay? Now, with me doing this on camera, it's probably not going to do it. But one of the things we'll see is people will run their microwave with their AC running. They won't have enough power, and boom, it trips the breaker, shuts everything down, so we have to start fresh again. So, what do we do to start fresh? Well, we got to get to the converter panel. So if you were running your microwave and your AC at the same time, there's a possibility that the amps get too much and it can't run. Does it happen every time? No, it won't happen every time, but you're not tuning in this video for every time, you're tuning in for when this happens. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to start looking for the converter. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of different spots where the converters can be on different floor plans. They're going to be different locations and different units. I'll also start showing you what different converters could possibly look like. I've got two right beside each other. Just know where your breaker box is, your converter box, and you'll get that going. So for this converter, they've actually hid it inside a cabinet. So that's where this one's at. So on the Sierra, right here by the entrance steps, that's where we got the 110 breakers at. And if I can get it to close, there it goes. There is our 12 volt ones right here. So that's a possible location for all your stuff. Let's take a look at another one, folks. This is where another converter could be. This is on the floor in a bunk room between two slide rooms. So this is another possible location. And what another one could look like. Why is there a red light on? Watch the rest of the video, you'll find out. So back to this converter. Customers will often look in here and go, hey, all my breakers are perfectly fine. Locate the AC that's not working. In this case, we don't have our main AC working. This breaker here, just a light touch, it went the rest of the way off. It was tripped. So we're going to shut it off, give it a second, and back on. And now our AC's back up and running normally. So that was the simple fix for that.
What happens if you wake up in the middle of the night and the AC isn't working all of a sudden? It's 85 degrees inside. Well, first thing you do, get your happy butt out of bed, and we're going to go start checking things. First thing I'm going to check is whether it's time to actually get up, because then I got to get coffee started. Eric, I want you to know that I dedicated myself to this. I took a solid hour nap in here
just to make sure that it was believable that I was really asleep. But we're going to go to the microwave and we're going to see if the microwave's got power. Let's go down there first. All right, so we're down here at the microwave. The microwave doesn't have power. Now that's a good indication that I don't have power coming to my camper. So I got a couple of things that I'm going to check. First thing I'm going to check, the thing closest to me, I'm going to check my converter. Remember a couple of seconds ago where we were checking breakers? We're going to check all the breakers. Check all of them. Make sure they're all, when you push up on them, they're fully up. Come down here to my converter, check that. Oh, main's tripped. So get that guy back on. Now I can go around, turn the ACs back on. Everything should be rock and rolling. But what if that wasn't the problem? All right, so we checked inside, checked the converter inside. There was no problem there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come out to the power box where we plug our power cord in to the camper to a surge protector, folks. Make sure we're plugging it into that. And oh, look at that. There's no green lights, which means I got no power going to there. Pretty good indicator that I'm going to have an issue there. Yep, breaker's off. Flip that back on. Now, the ACs, when we're troubleshooting this, be sure to shut them down, okay? Because if you're flipping breakers back on and you're throwing all kinds of power to them real fast, you may end up tripping the breaker again. So make sure you shut them off at the thermostat before moving to the next step of actually looking for the power source problem. So let's go over one other one that could be an issue. It's not an issue on this Chaparral, so we're gonna go play with another camper. All right, so another possibility when we check the converter is we find a red light beside a fuse. Now, if you've watched our other videos, you'll know the red light indicates that there's a fuse blown. So we're gonna pop that guy out, toss him off to the side, grab our nice new good fuse, line him up, and we're gonna use the pliers. Push him in, good to go. Let's go check that AC, see if that makes it work. It's hot doing these videos with no AC on the day that it's 99 degrees. I did not think this one through. All right, so got our fuse back in on the Salem. Come over here to the thermostat, select cool, set temperature at 60 degrees. No, it's not gonna get there in a minute. It was 87 when we woke up in our Batman pants in the middle of the night. But we got AC working now. That's all that matters. Guys, this is just another video we're trying to do for you guys. If you have any questions about the topics in the video, please comment down below. I do read all the comments. It does take me a minute to get through all of them, but I do read and try to respond to all of them. That being said, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and we'll try to keep pushing out more information like this. If you have any tips, tricks, videos that you want to see done, any troubleshooting videos within reason, comment down below. We'll see if we can get it done. If not, I'll explain why we can't. All right, guys. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it. It's The Real JR. Have a great day. So, this was Steve Little's note on the end of the video. Okay, because Steve has to approve anything Junior says about anything mechanical, because Junior actually doesn't know anything mechanical. He just repeats what Steve says. Steve, why aren't you on camera?
Nope.
All right, so back to what we were talking about. So I knew that breakers do trip in a campground when they were crowded. Steve was able to explain why. So here's why. And I'm going to recite this, and you tell me when I mess it up. All right, so if in a crowded campground, okay, at the beginning of the power leg, it's at 120, all the way at the end. If it's really crowded, really hot, and everybody's using up a lot of power, you might be down to 100 volts, okay? Now, when voltage goes down, amperage goes up. And what trips breakers, Steve?
Amperage.
All right, so that could be the cause of it. Now, the solution is still getting your breaker back on and going over to your neighbors and turning theirs off. Will that solve the problem? If you go through like the next 3 campsites and shut them down, that should solve the problem, right, Steve?
Conserve any power you can.
Conserve any power you can. So get as much stuff, cell phone chargers that are plugged into 110 outlets, get them unplugged. Coffee pots, even if it's sitting there idle and people go, but my coffee pot isn't running right now. Yeah, it kind of is. So get as much stuff off as possible, and that will give you the best chance of preventing it tripping again that night, or even in the middle of the day when everybody's spiking use. All right, Steve, thank you as always.
Yep.
Guys, comment down below if you have more questions. We'll get them answered for you.